Hello and welcome to Life Lessons with Barbara. Thank you for tuning in. I'm your host, Barbara Aline Johnson, but you can call me Barbara. I'll be sharing lessons I've learned, mostly the hard way, from my many years of life experience, and also some I've learned from others that I've worked with over the years as a counselor, therapist, and life coach. I am the owner of BEJ Associates, a transformational coaching and consulting company. We specialize in dismantling barriers that stand between you and the life you truly want to live. I'm going to give a quick shout out to Wdrb Media and WGIV, the soul of Charlotte. Thank you for this wonderful opportunity for me to be able to share this time with you, my audience. And if you like the smooth, groovy tune you're hearing, well, that's none other than lead guitarist extraordinaire, Lois Lady Mac McMorris. And she's doing her signature piece called After the Rain. To download After the Rain and hear more of her tunes, go to my website, BEJ-Associates.com. You can also hear and see past shows and hear more about my company and sign up for a free coaching session. Again, that's BEJ-Associates.com, and you're listening to Life Lessons with Barbara. I am so glad you were able to join me for show number 6 of Life Lessons with Barbara. Today I am sharing the last few morsels from my interview with Dr. Joe L. Dudley Sr. of Dudley African American Hair and Skin Products fame. Now, in show number 4, I gave you a lot of background information on his beginnings and his astronomical rise to the status of multimillionaire, author, humanitarian, and my goodness, so much more. Now, in show number 5, we focused on the concept of the mastermind group and how the F.D. Fuller and J.L. Dudley Foundation intends to eventually establish 500 of these mastermind groups all throughout the country, at least one in every major city in the United States, and maybe even beyond. And from this network of mastermind groups, it is expected that they will produce from 1,000 to 2,000 more African American millionaires, and billionaire job makers. And that will no doubtedly revitalize and sustain our African American communities for generations to come. Today, you will hear the last few stories and pearls of wisdom that Dr. Dudley so graciously shared with me so that I can share them with you. So please listen past some of the poor audio quality so that you don't miss a word. We're going to start off with more of his reflections on how he responded to the misdiagnosis that he was mentally retarded. Stay tuned.
Another thing that really made a tremendous difference in my life, being labor retarded, and I knew I was slow, there's no question about that. But the thing that changed my life was, they said I would be married before I was 17 years old, which was okay with me. I had no problem with that. He said, they told my mother, all the kids you got 11 kids, and all of them will do something except Joe. Only one will not make it. So that was okay. I didn't have a problem with that. But when this smart girl, my girlfriend that I was dating for 23 months, she said, Joe, I want to get married. I was so excited, I didn't know what to do. She said, what? She says, I want smart kids, and you're retarded. And I won't have smart kids with you. That was the day that changed my life.
Oh.
I was so frustrated. I wanted to find him because I would have found him. I'm sure I would. We got in an argument. So, but I didn't. And I made up my mind that day life. But remember how to kind of think about this. My sister, 2 years younger than I, was in the same class. She was the top of the class, and I was the bottom of the class. So that was enough for me to make some big changes.
That's fantastic. That sibling rivalry paid off, didn't it?
Oh, yes, no question about it.
So I think you've already answered this, but I just want to make sure that, we didn't leave anything out. I had asked, what would you say is your greatest achievement beyond making the money, which was never your ultimate goal in the first place, but beyond that, what would you say is your greatest achievement?
Well, I think the greatest achievement was for me meeting Mr. S.B. Fuller. And because of that, it really helped to get my goal. And the goal that we both had was to make 200 millionaires. And I'm sure that we have met that. They're on their way. That was a big goal. And when people come to me and say, you changed my life. You told me some things that in a short time my life would change. I was different. That was exciting. That's exciting. That's a goal that, I accomplished and continuously accomplishing, doing to helping these people. This is what this museum is all about.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of which, this is probably going to be your greatest legacy, right? The S.B. Fuller and Joe L. Dudley Sr. Foundation. Is that that is the title of your new initiative?
Yes.
Why don't you go ahead and just tell the audience about that?
Well, a young man that I worked with that came to work with me was 19 years old. And I helped him. He said this is one of the greatest things because he could have been involved in drugs. We were close to that. But when he sit down with me for the first time I met him was an hour or more. We just sit and talk. And I told him if he wanted to be successful, I would show him the way. And he did. He came in. So years later, at that time, he said, I want to recognize Mr. Fuller and me. And that's what he did. So it came back about a year and a half ago and came to me for some advice. And I shared with him. Then he came back the next day. He said, I've been thinking about doing something. I plan to do this for a long time. I want to build a museum in the honor of you and Mr. Fuller.
Oh.
And Tony Guevara. And this is how all this, in less than 2 years now, to put all this together to make a difference. Because what happened most times that when an African American man or woman dies, their business dies. And nobody never recognized them. They never know anything about this person. You ask them who was George Johnson, they don't know. Who was John H. Johnson, they don't know. Who was Mr. Gadsden, they don't know. And other people, they don't know. We want to change that. We want to make a difference because every time a black African Americans got to start all over again, they don't have no reference to be able to find out and see what other people have done. And I was blessed because I had Mr. Fuller. And I just feel like I owe so much to this man, which is going on. But he just changed my thinking, which changed my life.
BEJ Associates LLC offers a broad array of services, including life coaching to help achieve your personal goals, planning, facilitation, and presentations of workshops, seminars, and conferences, various customized services, diverse and personalized addictions intervention, and organizational staff development. We specialize in dismantling barriers to individual and organizational achievement. BEJ Associates. Enlighten, inspire, motivate at bej-associates.com.
Mr. Fuller only had 18 months of schooling, but he educated himself, he trained himself, and he learned. So when I met this man, it just changed my thinking, which changed my life.
Wow. Wow.
So I contributed all that I know from the business world to Mr. S.B. Fuller.
Yes. I can see you continue to honor him.
Oh, yes.
And that's why his name is also on the foundation.
Oh, yes.
Beautiful. Well, let's talk about that for a minute. I'm going to read a description that has been published about the foundation, just so everybody will know. The S.B. Fuller and Joe L. Dudley Sr. Foundation exists for the purpose of educating African Americans about the virtues of capitalism and the positive effect of entrepreneurship as a vehicle for economic empowerment in our community. We inspire, empower, and enlighten through the presenting, preserving, and celebration of the accomplishments and legacy of past and current successful African American entrepreneurs and people of African descent. That kind of describes the big picture of the foundation.
Leave something, we want to leave a legacy, and the legacy is not money. So many people think legacy is money, but we want to leave a legacy of information and show people that in spite of, you can become successful. Not just successful in dollars and cents, but you got to have money now. I'm not trying to belittle that, but to reach out. Now we believe, because let me tell you why we've done this. It bothers us when we see black is killing black. And nobody really mentions how many people are getting killed, boys and black boys and that type of thing. We don't see that. Now, we see a lot when the police kill them. No killing is good, whether it's police or whether it's black on black crime. So we just say, look, we're not going to sit back here. If it takes all our life, we're going to work until the last minute of our life that we can to make sure that we can let people know that it's not good for us to be killing each other, and we must make some changes. And we believe that this is going to make a difference in what we're doing, because when they can come by and see people like myself and John Ray and Dr. Willie Bailey and see us doing it well, we can't help but, we're just excited about it. I don't know how to express it, but we're just full of excitement about it. So they talk about my 80th birthday, but that's not the main thing. It's building something for our people.
Yeah.
Leave a legacy. That's what we're all about.
I hope you will continue to tune in for Life Lessons with Barbara on Saturdays at 9 a.m. And I promise I'll keep you up to date on what's happening with the big 80th birthday bash for Dr. Dudley. And I also want to let you know that eventually you will be able to hear all of the shows that I've done and see most of them on my website. So stay tuned. As they say, all good things must come to an end. This closing is going to be short because I wanted to allow as much time as possible for you to hear Dr. Dudley speak in his own words. But let me direct you to the website once again, BEJ-Associates.com, because on the website you have all the details, prices, links, and everything you need to be a part of this huge celebration that's going to take place May 20th through the 22nd. So go sign up. It only costs $15 to be in that mega mastermind group that's going to meet and hear awesome keynote speakers on the 20th of May. So with that, for our life lesson for today, I will share 4 of Dr. Dudley's 10 principles for success from his book, Walking by Faith. I am, I can, and I will. Number 1, change your attitude to change your life. Number 2, accept challenge and faith. Number 3, don't add loss to loss. And finally, make a difference in the world. Namaste.